You are listening to Wait a Minute with Beth and Jessica,
episode 58. I'm Jessica Pearson, certified life coach.
And I'm Beth Barnett-Babel, integrative nutrition therapist.
Hello, everybody. Sometimes I forget that we're also on camera.
For the people that watch, I have a technology question that is relevant. So the new Mac Airbook, whatever's the latest update, has a terrible camera video feature. And so it doesn't matter if I use this fancy HD camera or whatever, the quality is very different than from my old one. Does anybody know how to fix this?
Oh, yeah. Send your tech answers to Beth.
Send tech answers.
Well, also before we get started, I just had to report that I saw Barbie.
You did? How was it?
I was like, you should take Ming. It might go over her head, but there's so much like fun visuals and a lot of pink. I know she loves pink and they're singing and dancing. So I think she'll enjoy it.
And then the rest can just...
Yeah, like the whole patriarchy discussion might go over her head. But I don't think she'll mind. I think she'll like it. Okay. So yeah, I really actually liked it. I thought it's funny because their marketing team has obviously gone above and beyond and brainwashed us all to want to go see it.
Yeah. My neighbor saw it, and even the husband wore a pink tutu with his, because he has 2 girls and a wife. So he even like dressed up with them. And I was like, go on now. That's good.
That's cute. So, yeah, I know some people are very anti, but I think that's the point, is that they are calling themselves out on some of the obviousnesses of why Barbie maybe did not promote the best female culture for us growing up. You know, I mean, they make a point to talk about a lot of this stuff. And there's just a lot of like funny one-liners and quips. And then, of course, the America Ferrera monologue is really amazing. And so, I don't know. I shed a tear or two. The music really like got to me. It was just really sweet. And it's Barbie. So it's not like so deep that you're going to like walk out in existential crisis, right? It's just a movie. And it's maybe not like Oscar award winning film, but I found it very entertaining.
Good. I did the opposite. I went and saw the Wes Anderson Asteroid City movie last weekend instead of doing the Barbie.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Oppenheimer, because I feel like
I am so not interested.
Oh,
I know
I want to see it. I want to see all the things. I feel like movies are back, like finally.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go to movies, but it's just that's not like a movie I'm down with. And it's like, okay, like there's all these places we have tested nuclear, that there are inhabitants around the area. And yeah, I'm just like not going to celebrate the fallout of all these chemicals in these things that are around. I just,
hey, that's okay.
Okay.
This week we're actually going to replay an older episode about detoxes and cleanses and their role in diet culture. So every time we promote our detox, I mentally struggle with the word detox, which we also talk about in this episode. But it's like how we might be perceived since we're playing an anti-diet game, right? We're anti-diet people, and then we're offering a detox. And so I always think
feels controversial.
Right. And I always think that we should call it something else, maybe to like
we tried. And
yeah, we called it like a reset. We've called it other things, but why? It just is what it is. So let's just call it what it is and let it be okay. Because I've done it. At least since we recorded this, I've done it once. I did not do it maybe for 2 or 3 years because there was COVID, pregnancy, and nursing. So I took a long break, but now I've done it, a few times. So it just is what it is. And I've seen how clients respond to it. And we keep doing it because we like it. And no, it's not for everyone. So I think if you listen to this podcast and read the details on our website about what this is, you're going to get clues, as to whether this is for you or not. And either way is totally fine. And if you have questions, you can reach out to us.
And then I also want to point in before we start to put in this, I think that this episode is helpful because we do talk about why somebody would want to do a cleanse or do something extra to support their natural detoxification cycles. And so having a good functioning detox system that is challenged on a daily basis due to our many environmental inputs, both inside and outside of our home. It doesn't seem like it in many places that people live in the US. They just think, oh, well, my air doesn't look smoggy and polluted, then I'm not exposed to it. But that's actually not true. Like even just what cars emit, the gasoline and the fumes and carpets off gassing and just like all of these things that are little bits, but they all add up. And then, we add our food supply. So it just is a lot for our body to deal with. And so I just want everybody to know that we do need to support our natural detoxification system because of the overload. And also, many of us are lacking the nutrients that help our liver and other parts of our body get these chemicals out of our body. And when they build up, they can disrupt how our cells function and alter how well our hormones are able to communicate with cells and do their functioning. And that's like the thyroid hormone, sex hormones, insulin, so on. So it does influence our overall health and function. So I just want to reiterate that.
Are you going to do it this round? Oh, no, you're going to be in Japan.
I'll be.
It's just me. Which I'm happy to do. I'm ready. I feel good about it. So, all right, we're going to play this and we'll be back in a second.
Welcome, everyone.
Hi. So today we're talking about cleanses and diet culture. And this came up because I was listening to the Goop podcast with Cameron Diaz. Do you ever listen to this podcast?
No, never.
The guest was Cameron Diaz. And, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Goop because it's like, whatever. It's a whole other podcast.
I mean, there's good information, but some of it you're like, oh my gosh, pick a topic, stick with your thing. And it can be way too far to one.
Yeah. It can be extreme or even unreachable, right? They're like, buy this $7,000 eye cream. I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen, but thanks.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know it exists. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I still love it though. So I was just drawn to this episode because I do like Cameron Diaz and, I've been sick and I've been watching all these 90s rom-coms and I was like, Cameron Diaz is also one of those people who talks about aging gracefully and she says she doesn't do any Botox or anything of the like. So I don't know. I just wanted to hear, and she also has a toddler and she's 49. So I was like,
God.
I know. So I was like, I'm just curious, let's see what Cameron Diaz is up to. And so I'm listening to this podcast and the first thing Gwyneth says, hey girl, how you doing? And Cameron says, oh, I'm doing this something protocol and we're in the phase where we can only have soup. And I just feel so good on this. And they just kind of dive right into talking about this cleanse that she's on. And Gwyneth is like, oh, this is my porn. I love talking about this stuff. Tell me all about it, And I just was like, where is the line between cleansing and diet culture?
Yeah, I would say, so I have not listened to the episode, but the way you describe it, it sounds very cliche of Hollywood, these two they are very amazing. They've done a lot of things, but it is very cliche of them to be kind of starting off talking about, or even just period talking about being on a soup phase of the cleanse.
Yeah, because the whole podcast,
being so excited talking about cleanses.
Yeah, the podcast, that wasn't the point of the podcast. It was just that was her answer.
Just the beginning, yeah.
But anyway, we know Gwyneth loves the cleanse. And so it just really got me thinking. And on one hand, I know that you and I both believe and understand there actually can be a lot of value in taking breaks from certain foods. And we've done them. I know that when I take a break from dairy, I actually do feel really good, right? Or when I give up coffee, sometimes that feels really good, right? So we know that there can be value in some of these breaks from certain things. But then on the other hand, there's also this whole world of options that are very rooted in diet culture that aren't helpful at all because they are either so overly restricted or they are promoted just for the purpose of weight loss when that's not really what the purpose is meant to be. And so I wanted to talk about it with you.
Okay. What do you want to talk about? Sorry. I'm a little punchy.
I like
today.
I like it. Well, because I think we have similar viewpoints on this, but I also think that the people are confused about like, is a cleanse okay? Or is this diet culture? Like, should I not be doing these? Because I know that a lot of anti-diet people, or even, health at every size, are like, we should never not eat something.
Correct. And also, many health professionals as well will say that's what your liver is for. You don't ever need to do these things because your liver can do all of this cleansing and detoxing.
Correct.
But I have counter arguments to all of these viewpoints.
Oh.
I both agree and have counter arguments.
Correct. Right. So it kind of goes to that whole, it's like, it doesn't have to be all or nothing thinking. It's not like cleanses are good or bad or wrong or right. There are always these nuances of like, what is it? Why are you doing it? And so forth. And I think it does get a bad rap because there are people selling like detox teas where you're just starving yourself and having diarrhea, or people feel like, oh, I have to do this where all I'm doing is eating bars and shakes for a month. It can be weird and disordered for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there are many that promote a cleanse for the sake of a quick weight loss.
Correct.
As well.
So that's a great question. So if not for weight loss, why would somebody take a break from certain things sometimes?
Right. So I think when I think about a cleanse, I think cleanses and detoxes are very, very similar, but are also different. So to me, if I were to say about a cleanse, I would say, okay, I have been eating a lot of like rich processed foods. Maybe I was on vacation. There was a lot of things going on. Maybe too much alcohol, who knows, right? So like all those things. So then I would want to take a break from having so much rich processed foods, that variety of things. So I would be doing that. I don't really consider just taking out dairy a cleanse.
Right.
That is a food elimination process.
Thank you for clarifying that.
That is working. Yeah. So the word cleanse to me is just maybe like, let's sort of pause on some of these like heavier foods, more elaborate things, and let me just eat something more simple and give my body a little bit of a rest on the intensity of what I'm putting in.
Right.
And I would typically consider someone to be cleansing if they are also taking out alcohol as well.
Yeah. And what's interesting is I think a lot of people have that inclination when they know they feel not great after consuming a lot of all of the things. And then it goes so extreme in the other way, right? Or they're like, I need to, and also again, they're coming at it from this like, ugh, I'm gross. I've been bad. I have to fix this. Instead of like, oh, you know what? I need to just shift my mindset about how I nourish my body and like what I'm putting into it. Even though the actions could be similar, it's really the mindset of like, this isn't because you're bad or you need to lose weight. It's because you just want to shift the way that you're treating yourself.
Right. So I think of a cleanse, as I mentioned before, just kind of dialing it back a little bit on the richness of food. I don't even think it's an amount.
Yeah.
So like a cleanse to me has nothing to do with like amounts of food or anything like that. To me, it's really all about richness and heaviness of food. And then a detox, though, I think of as there is something in our bodies that we need to get out of our bodies. This is an extreme example, but say you were basically an alcoholic or a drug user, you would need to detox from that. But also when we are exposed to a lot of, say, pesticides or like things like heavy metals, either in foods or in like our amalgams, the silver things can start to decay. And so you can get a lot of metal in your mouth. Is it mercury?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Brain. I can literally feel my neurons just
They're trying.
They're working so hard. They are trying to connect. But anyway, so like you would need to support your body to help clear those out.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think one of your arguments about the medical professionals not believing in it because they're like, oh, your liver just does it, right?
Right. Yes, our liver does do all of those things, but there's some buts. One of the buts is that some of us have genetic SNPs that we are actually missing the capacity. It's a deletion of having the full glutathione process. And so you don't actually produce you may not make enough glutathione in that metabolic process in your liver. So you would need to have extra glutathione. Glutathione is the master antioxidant. It's a key part of natural detox, of taking something that is toxic and making it not as toxic to be able to get it out of your body, or not as toxic, I should say. So that way it can pass out of your body. So there are many people that have genetic SNPs as to where you're not functioning at full rate to naturally detox. So you need extra support. On top of that, our bodies were designed to not have so much burden. So we are on a daily basis trying to process out all of the chemicals that are found in our foods. Not to be scary, because this does sound scary, but like all of our food is most of our food is wrapped in plastic. So all of that kind of leaches in. The air we breathe is not perfectly clean air. There is stuff from cars and all that jazz out in the air. I was thinking about pumping gas today, and I was like, oh my God, it is so hot. And there's like all the,
fumes
that come out from just like pumping gas. So like just all of it combined, cleaning products, like all of the things that we are exposed to.
And makeup and body products too, right?
Yeah. So we just our liver wasn't created when all of these chemicals
existed. Yeah.
It existed. And so it just has to do so much more. And on top of it, our food that we eat the soil does not have the same amount of nutrients that it once did. So our requirements for being able to have the natural vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, amino acids are not there that we in our diet. So we need some extra support. And sometimes we can overaccumulate depending on how much you eat. So I've heard more than once at like conferences where people had to help, there's like heavy sushi eaters or heavy fish eaters, and they primarily like tuna. And so then that's like a buildup of mercury. Some artisans, welders, or depending on what they use, the products they use, then they had a buildup of different types of heavy metals. And so just detoxing all of that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's like, I feel like I'm just hearing more medical professionals in my head, because it's like your body is amazing and your body can continue going without necessarily detoxing these things. But it's like you may or may not feel well, or you may end up with some inflammation or disease down the road, right? So that's just, your body's just working that much harder. So I think about like kind of how when you look at like a 75-year-old, there's like a youthful 75-year-old and then there's a not so youthful 75-year-old. And like, I think about kind of the way that we take care of our bodies along the way is kind of what potentially gets us to one or the other down the road.
Yeah. Many cases, unfortunately not all, even though we are aiming for that.
Right.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really done a cleanser or detox in years. So, but anyway, yeah, I just wanted to talk about it.
Yeah. Like people will also do like, which I've done and have people do, is like parasite cleanse or detox. So this is like I guess it's technically a cleanse. Yeah. So potentially cleaning out gut of unwanted microbes or life that is not helpful for your gut.
Yeah. That's a good
that would
point.
be a type of cleanse. So yeah. So what we really are wanting is for people to, like all things, is what's the intention behind why you're doing it, and is it a positive relationship with yourself? Like, why are you doing it?
Yeah, like don't do it if you already don't have a great relationship with food. If you're already self-loathing or carrying a lot of shame or guilt about eating, I don't know that diving into a cleanse or a detox is necessarily going to support your physical or mental health at that time, right? So a lot of times we've had people come to us and they're like, hey, I want to do like food sensitivity testing, because in their mind, it's like, oh, this is a personal type of cleanse and I'm doing it for weight loss. And we've told them no, because that's not the point of that process, is not just for weight loss. It's for so many other reasons. And we need that understanding first, because it's just so important.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. And we're not immune to it. I mean, we've all done it in the vein of weight loss in the past, for sure. And then the other thing too is like, this is temporary weight loss, just like any diet. So that's
100%. Yeah. It's definitely not meant to be. Yeah. That's the thing, is that people will say, you can lose all this weight, but if you really think about it, it's just like all the other quick fix things that don't last.
Correct.
And what I really want people to use these cleanse or potentially detoxes is like a new starting off point for feeling refreshed. And if they haven't been feeling so great, right? If you're feeling sluggish or whatever. So it's like, oh, okay, let me just use it in that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I was just thinking in my mind about back to Gwyneth and Cameron, because I was like, oh, this is interesting. I feel like they really came up in the heart of Hollywood and diet culture, right? As far as my generation goes, and it's like, that was just everything to them. And then I was like, wait, did Hollywood invent cleanses? And it's like, wait, no, we do know that like in Ayurveda or there are these ancient cultures and healing cultures where they did do versions of cleanses for one reason or another. So it's not just...
Yeah, usually it's like purification of body for spiritual reason, a lot of spiritual and religious
ceremonies.
Yeah, do the cleanse or a type of detox to have the body be more pure.
I know, but then it's like, I feel like I hear the people being like, pure, like we are pure the way we are. And it's like, or why do we need to be pure? It's like, I feel like the word pure is...
Oh, right. Well, that's just what they would use them for, is for that. I'm not saying that that's what I want.
No.
I would ask for somebody to do it, to be like, whoa. Like, I've had people do Ayurvedic cleanses in our practice, and we did them because like at a change of season, kind of like why somebody might do like a food sensitivity test and going from there. Like, to me, an elimination diet is somewhat of that, because you are trying to clean out something that's making you not feel very good, but it's just way more systemized.
You did do a cleanse lately?
No, just been doing, well, I mean, unless you don't count food sensitivity tests.
Yeah.
But no, we used to run that yearly detox, which was always so good. And it was mostly, a lot of the reason was just it was a thing to really help support the liver. And then people discovered food challenges, like foods that they had sensitivities to. So it was a way to do that. But people did try to use it for weight loss, and that was frustrating. But they were like, it doesn't, like I lost all this weight and then now it's starting to come back. And it's like, well, that wasn't the point.
Yeah. And I feel like part of it, like why we probably haven't promoted it in a while, is because we are on this anti-diet culture journey. But I guess it is hard to promote it for the right reasons, because people do just want to use it for weight loss. And so it's like not sexy marketing to be like, hey, do you want to support your liver? Like,
ooh, do you want to do you want to give your cells a little bit of a break?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, dude. Like there's no like sexy promise to it. It's like, hey, let's just not drink coffee and like not drink alcohol for a month, and maybe don't eat some dairy and give up red meat. And I don't know. And then
I just said something that made me laugh about I was like, I contradicted something that I don't believe in. I was like, do you want to give your cells a break? I hear that. Like, I said that because I hear it and I'm like, your cells don't ever take a break. They don't all be like, oh, well, I'm just gonna pause here while I have less things come in. Like, it's just my job here is not needed for now. Like, that does not exist.
Yeah.
They are there always doing something. It just might change how much, like, over time, or that's not even what I'm trying to say. But yeah, cells don't take a break. They always have a function. Always.
Yeah. I think the other part too is we know that when people, they get excited, they sign up, they are all in. And then like by week 2, people are like, oh yeah, I'm not really doing it anymore. It's like the commitment to it, I think, is also challenging. And there's been plenty of people that do it, right? Like that are all in. And then it's like, it just comes back to that like diet mentality. And so I think it's just challenging to market something that feels contradictory sometimes. And the messaging is tricky. I do get a lot of Prolon ads lately. And Prolon straight up is like, lose some weight. And I'm like, well, no shit. I'm going to lose weight if I'm not eating.
I thought it was originally created by somebody to help with reducing cancer risk and things of that nature.
Well, they probably can't advertise that because that's like a medical claim, right?
I think it was related to telomeres?
Like, what are those parts of our body?
Cancer. No. I want to say some of the original things I remember reading about Prolon was risks for cancer, and then like telomere, which is like your anti-aging genes. So as they shrink, we are aging. And so you want to not have them shrink too soon, that sort of thing. I remembered my question I was going to ask you earlier. Do you think would you consider Whole30 a cleanse / detox? Is that that's what
I think it is. I mean, I don't think they use those words.
They don't. But that's essentially what it is, right?
I would say it's a cleanse. I mean, the thing is, I feel like with detox, there's usually the addition of like supplements, because it's like, we need to really support the body by adding in these nutrients to really help your organs flush and do the things that they need to do. Whereas like the cleanse is kind of more simple. And so, yeah, I do think Whole30 is a cleanse. And that's why when we meet people that are like, I basically just been eating Whole30 for the last year, it's like, whoa, that's pretty like intense, because you're basically just on a cleanse, which is not meant to be forever. But for some people, I guess it's okay. I don't know. I'm curious to know what the people think. Like, what are their thoughts about cleanses and diet culture? And like, I don't know. I want to.
Do you do them, and why do you do them? And I want to know.
Yeah. Send us a message on Instagram.
Just to reiterate, since recording that, I have done the detox.
And I have as well.
Yeah. I think I said in that episode, it was like July 5th or something. And it was right when I had just had like C. diff. I had like a stomach bug. Maybe I hadn't even had C. diff yet. I was getting all of these crazy illnesses because I had a toddler that was newly-ish in daycare, and my body, probably also due to the lack of sleep and the increased amount of stress since becoming a mom, it was just like this perfect storm. And so I was really kind of like not doing so great with my health. And I will testify that detox really turned that all around for me. And maybe it was just lucky timing of having a kid in daycare long enough, but I don't really think that's the case. I really think that my body needed a oomph to turn it all around. So it was great timing for me. And I'm already getting messages from people who did the detox with me last year who are ready to do it again. So we are going to host it again. It will kick off September 6th. So the deadline to register is Friday, August 25th, because we need enough time to be able to order your supplements and have them shipped out and have you prepared and ready to go. And this way you get to have your holiday and then come back, be ready to go, and then you're done before all the major holidays. So it's really great timing. So each week you're going to get our pre-recorded video. There's a helpful guide with the plans and recipes and so much more. You also get a virtual one-on-one check-in each week. And like I said, the supplements come directly to you. So get all the details and go sign up at pathnutrition.com/detox. And again, the deadline to register is Friday, August 25th.
And I just want you all to know that this is not a weight loss program. This is just a way to support your natural detoxification cycles, to discover if there are one of the common foods that is creating a food intolerance, and you're having symptoms to that you may not be recognizing. So it's a way to sort of food elimination diet, support your liver and all of its cells, and just kind of
call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
It's called a detox. So, however you wanna look at it.
Yeah. I don't remember if we talked about what it actually is in the last podcast.
Yeah.
Just really quickly. Like, there is food. You get to eat an abundance of whole real foods. It is not like Whole30. I've had people who think it sounds a lot like Whole30 because it kind of does, but I've had people that have done both, and they say they think this one is a lot easier. There's fewer rules. There's more foods involved. And we also talk about how you don't have to execute it at 100% to get a lot of really great results. You can come in at whatever percent feels good to you, and you're still going to reap a lot of the benefits.
I sure hope that we gave you something new to think about today and helped you take one more step on your path to freeing yourself from diet culture. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast and follow us on Instagram at path_nutrition. And we'd love to see you inside of our detox, or if that doesn't call to you, please come join us in our online course, Foundations, pathnutrition.com/foundations. Just come hang out with us, and somewhere along the way, we'd love to help you. All right.
Bye,
everyone.